Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. Give me some popcorn and shut your mouth while I watch some movies, Richardson, because today we're checking out this thing right here. Oh, man. This is some serious big boy stuff. Typically on the channel, I, showcase a lot of lifestyle projectors, pocket projectors, smart projectors, and things of that nature. But today, I went ahead and stepped it up a whole bunch of notches to the Sony VPL-XW5000ES 4K projector. And when I say 4K, I mean native 4K. This is a native 4K projector, which brings me to the origin of why I'm doing this on this channel. So I'm looking at, stepping up my home setup. Right now I've been using the Hisense C1 laser projector, which is great. Okay, it's a fantastic projector, works well for a main projector at the house. Good cinema looking projector, man. I love it. Okay. But you know me, I'm always trying to upgrade some stuff. So I called up Sony Man, Sony Man. I just called him. That's what I call him, Sony Man. So I called up Sony Man. I was like, hey, Sony Man, what's going on? He was like, nothing, bro. What you up to? I was like, just chilling, looking at some projectors. I wanted to see what you had, Sony Man. And he was like, well, what's your budget? I said, well, I need something cheap. He was like, we don't do that. I was like, well, how much is the cheapest one? He was like, how much you got? And I was like, okay. So I took a breath and then I went to the website. So I was like, all right, I need the cheapest one you got. So this is what we do. This is what we're left with. I'm just trolling, man. I'm just trolling. But this kind of a true story. I was like, all right, what's the cheapest projector that Sony has? And this happens to be it. This is their entry-level cinema quality projector, entry-level home theater projector at, the retail price of about $6,000. So yeah, after I had a discussion with my wallet and Chase, bank, we decided to see what this thing was all about. And you know what? I don't even care, man. I don't even care, because I got some stuff to tell you. So if you're familiar with Sony's latest versions of their TVs, then you know that they use the XR processor. Well, in their projectors, they use what's called the X1 Ultimate. And the reason I brought up the TVs is because it's kind of like, if you know the TVs, then you know that like the X1 processor is kind of like an optimized version for projectors. So that's how I would put that. Now, I know Sony probably don't like me saying that, but that's how I would relate it to the regular guy like me and you. But the next thing I want to show you is this big old bulb right here. This is a laser and it's shooting out up to 2,000 lumens, which brings me to some lessons that I learned when I was looking at higher end projectors. 4K, like native 4K versus pixel shift 4K, and then lumen rating. Let's double back to the 4K stuff. So what I learned was there's a native 4K. I thought all these, projectors were basically 4K. They are not, okay? Now, Chris Majestic, look, check out Chris Majestic's video. I'll post a link in the description. He explains this very well, the difference between native 4K and pixel shift. But kind of in a nutshell, 4K native is like expensive, okay? And it requires a lot of processing power. Whereas pixel shifting is taking a few 1080p images and shifting them around and playing tricks on your eyeballs, making your eyeballs believe you're seeing 4K, which is totally fine because on those projectors, it really does look like 4K. And it's a great quality picture. But once I saw it, like, it's one of those things where the average person won't notice the difference between what native 4K looks like and pixel shift 4K. But once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. So you start to see those fine qualities and stuff. And I've kind of become like almost a snob, when it comes to stuff like this, because I've been playing around with so many nice toys. But now we get into lumen ratings, like actual lumens. So when a lot of projectors, especially on the budget tiers, they'll boast, 1,500, 1,000, 2,000 lumens, which is great. And that is mega bright, right? But they actually give you those numbers in what would be like a presentation mode for a PowerPoint or something like that. So it's like turned up to its highest brightness, but if you try to watch an actual movie with the peak brightness, the peak lumens, it's going to look like hot garbage. Whereas this one right here, the 5000 ES, 2000 lumens is what you're getting for your movies and for your content. So that is, this is why these things are costing so much and why it's a little bit bigger than your average lifestyle projector. But still hanging out at the front of the projector behind this lens cover is a 20,000 hour bulb. That's right. 20,000 hours, or up to 20,000 hours. Dude, that is a lot of movies. Let me do some calculations real quick. So you're telling me that 20,000 hours, that's like a movie a night for like eight years or something like that? Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. 20,000 hours. Each movie is about 2.5 hours. I don't know. It's a lot of math, but that's a lot of hours on a bright 2000 lumen bulb that's going to give you a massive array of colors because it's laser, baby. But on the front here is also where you're going to find your manual focus ring and your manual zoom ring, because manual, baby. This means you get to super fine tune adjustments as far as focus and your zoom. And when I was setting it up, I found it actually very easy to, kind of zoom in. And what I like about this is another thing I noticed stepping up to like a dedicated home theater projector versus a lifestyle projector. Lifestyle projectors, they're smart. They have these digital, amenities that they have with the digital zoom and the digital keystone and stuff like that. And it's cool, it's easy for the user. But what you do notice is like, the picture will be so big, right? And then if you need to zoom in to crop it up to your screen, you can crop the picture up to your screen, but you still have a bunch of light spill on the outside of that screen. That's with a lifestyle projector with the digital zoom and stuff like that, because the actual light is being still cast outside of the parameters of the screen. Whereas this, you actually zoom the lens in and out to get it perfectly matched up with the borders of your screen. You don't have light spill. That was something I noticed immediately. And I was like, wow, that's why you do this kind of thing in a dedicated home theater. But now if you go to the top of the projector, you just press this little lever in right there. Then you see the little cap. This just hangs on there so you can adjust your vertical and your horizontal lens shifting. So you don't have to line this thing up exactly perfect. You do have some play in there with this vertical and horizontal shifting for the lens. And then you can get your perfect setup, because you only got to do it one time, right? And then you can just start enjoying your content. And that leaves us to the mounting of this cinematic beast. As you can see, there are two little feet right here because you can actually raise the front of it, because this is the front of the projector. The laser is on this side. And these two little feet will raise the front and kind of, you can balance it if you have it on a tabletop or something like that. On the back side, there's just a little rubber grip for the table, so it doesn't have feet on the back side, just on the front. But since I have it mounted to my ceiling, I'll show you how I did that. This actually has 3, not 4, but 3. I'm kind of perplexed by this. This is a pretty hefty projector, but it only has 3 mounting screws right here, and it looks like they are 1/4-inch screws, and that's how I mounted it to my ceiling. For the life of me, I can't figure out why they would only provide 3 mounting points, but it worked for me on my ceiling, so it should work for you too. Now we get into some real serious stuff here, man. The inputs. This is super important because this is how this thing talks to your other interfaces. So we're starting off from the rear of the projector, which is where the LAN input is, and the front of the projector is on this side right here if you're watching. So the LAN input is right there. You got HDMI 1 and HDMI 2, a trigger so you can actually trigger this with your screen if you have a nice electric screen, your IR input and remote here, which is like a serial port, and then you have a USB connection. Now, as I was setting this thing up, coming from a bunch of lifestyle projectors, I was perplexed, man. I did not see an eARC. So I called up Sony, man. I was like, hey, Sony, man, this projector, it does not have eARC support. What is the deal with that? And he just told me, he schooled me. He was like, look, bro, you are messing around with a cinema projector, okay? When people have projectors in this price bracket and this type of tier of projector, they're not typically using it with a sound bar or something like that where they need the eARC to do stuff. They're usually setting it up to a component system, which is what I'm getting next. I think I might upgrade my Sony HTA5000 soundbar setup that I've shown you. I think I might go ahead and upgrade that with the what is it, STR-AN1000? Oh man, I'm kind of hyped about that, man. So I'm working on, upgrading it to a component system so I can have my Atmos in the front on my ceiling, and then I got the center channel like dedicated in the center channel, not just the sound bar. And then it works with the RS3 and RS5 rear speakers that are wireless. It also works with the SW3 and SW5 subwoofer. But here's the kicker on that. You can actually use 2 of the same subwoofers. Yes, not 1, but 2 subwoofers. The SW3 × 2, SW5 × 2. That's absolutely nuts. I kind of want to try it. I want to try it. Okay, but back to the projector though. While I was setting up, I did notice that at 2000 lumens, I had the windows open and the lights on. So I decided to turn the lights off and just leave the windows open. I got windows on the left and windows on the right. They're wide open, or at least the shutters are, and I can see this thing. So it is definitely bright enough, even on a matte white screen, to watch with some dim lights on or with the windows open. So that was clutch right there. But then I noticed once I turned those lights off, things got really, really nice. We're talking about being at the movies. Now, this is where I tell you like the difference between where we were and where we are now. I feel like, remember CDs? CDs were the top tier, CD quality. Everything wanted to be CD quality. And then this thing called MP3 came out and we started streaming our music. The quality degraded a little bit, but our ears were conditioning to hear it. And now, you know, you hear MP3 and it sounds great, right? But that's until you hear a CD. I feel like we've done that with streaming content, as far as like, you know, on the dongles and stuff like that, and on smart projectors and like smart TVs. Streaming has kind of degraded video quality, right? Because on a DVD or Blu-ray, you're getting the crispness. And that's what these things were built for. They were built for Blu-rays and DVDs. Yes, you can plug in a Google TV dongle, just like I did, because that's the only way I used it. I don't even own a Blu-ray player anymore. But what I did notice was when I used that same dongle on the Hisense projectors and all the other smart lifestyle projectors, it looked fine. But once I plugged it into the back of the 5000 ES, I noticed I felt like I was actually getting 4K. It's like it upscaled the dongle itself. And I'm assuming that's that X1 Ultimate processor doing its job, because it truly looks different and much better using the same dongle on this projector than it does on those. And I can't explain it any other way. What I feel like right now is that I'm truly at the movies when I'm watching this projector. Because on the other projectors, yes, they're on the same screen, 120 inches, right? You see it, it's big, it's way bigger than your TV, it's bright, you're getting 4K. It looks great, great visuals to the eyes. And then something like this comes in the room and it's like, whoa, something's different. I can't put my finger on it, but the aura, I just feel like I'm at the movies. Cinematic experience. I'm at the movies in my house. 120 inch screen, and I'm sitting, this thing right here, I have it, I think about 13 and a half feet away from a 120 inch screen, maybe about 14 feet away. That is ultra close for a projector like this. All right, it's not a short throw projector, but it is close, okay? So I'm sitting that close. I'm sitting about 13 feet away from this 120 inch screen, getting an IMAX style experience, man. Me and my wife, all we do now is like every night we go upstairs into the media room and we just pop some popcorn, eat some snacks. Dude, we've been eating the hell out of some snacks. Watching TV, man. My dog has a spot. My wife is over here. We just doing our thing. Absolutely loving this projector, man. We've watched so much content. Some of the same stuff I watched before, I just wanted to, like I said, experience with the 5000 ES. And I'm telling you, it's not a night and day difference, but it's enough to know you have truly upgraded your projector. I've gamed on it. Gaming is fantastic, okay? Gaming it's a great experience. No, you don't get the same gaming experience like you do on a TV, as you do miss out on the 120 hertz refresh rate and the VRR, but you're gaming big and there's no latency. It actually has a low latency mode. So yes, you can do some true gaming on this thing with all the colors, all the depth, all the 4K, all the pixels, and all the brightness. So without continuing to excessively ramble on about how much I absolutely love this projector, I'll tell you this, kind of sum it up. So it's like, remember when the Chrysler 300 came out? I've used this analogy before. Remember when the Chrysler 300 came out and everybody said, oh man, that looks like a Bentley, man. That looks, or a Fantley. It looks like a Phantom. Everybody thought it looked like a Phantom, right? And then you would see a Phantom come by, you know, and a Phantom pulls up and it's like, oh, that's not a Phantom. This is a Phantom. So what I'm saying is, this is the Phantom. All the other ones I've tried out, they've been more like Chrysler 300s. And that's okay, because the Chrysler 300 is a fantastic car. It just ain't a Phantom, you know? Oh man, Sony man is probably watching this video right now just laughing at me because... Anyway, look, I gotta get out of here, man. I'm not an expert in this kind of stuff, but what I do know is I'm driving a Phantom now. Then y'all keep being good to each other, and I'll see you when I see you.